Hey, this is Retired Geek Woman, Adventures with Rhiannon, Stardew Valley 1.5, Retired Slow Play, part number 61. And we are on the second day of spring in year number 3. And hello, Harvey. How you doing? And we are trying to get our stuff, everything planted. We always say hello to Harvey Jr. Hello. It's so funny. You throw them up in the air. When you click on them, that's all they can do until they start crawling around. So, okay. And it's a rainy day, which really doesn't make any difference to us either way. Our goal today, yesterday, we planted everything that we could, and we need to go get more seeds. And there's just, you can see there's just weeds and stuff all over the farm. Got enough hay to make it through on these rainy days like this where they use the hay, and that's no problem. And look at that, 5 pieces of iridium ore. So that is pretty awesome. That's how we're going to be getting iridium ore. I've been kind of hinting about that for a while now, and so I wanted to explain that that's how we're going to be getting our iridium ore from now on, because you can get, I don't know what the lowest amount is. I think 5. I think you can get more than 5 sometimes. Seems like to me you can get 8 sometimes. But that sure as heck beats trying to go get Omni and Magna Geodes in the mine, which you're certainly not guaranteed. So that's pretty awesome when you say, and all you have to do is hit certain milestones so that when Grandpa comes to pay a final visit, he's very happy. So I know what those milestones are. The very first time I played this game, I didn't know anything about that. I had not read about it, and it's like, okay, Grandpa comes to visit, and I didn't get all of my candles lit up. So that was kind of a bummer, and I can't remember if it was before or after there was an update in which Grandpa could visit you again. And there's a way to make him come back if you don't have 4 candles lit, and the 4 candles is what gives you that statue of perfection or whatever it's called, that gives you the iridium ore. So again, it's not if you're not worried about it, then you can just do whatever you want to do, play however you want to play. Grandpa comes to visit, and if you have enough in the background points, but if you've done enough things that make Grandpa super happy so that he can go on to the great beyond and have a peaceful existence without being around the farm, then you can have him come back. But you can see there's 4 candles there. I had plenty of points. I knew what caused the points to add up, and I just made sure that I hit those milestones, and I know I way more than hit the milestones. So now, you may think, oh, but it's going to be so boring from now on. Oh, no. Not at all. I have lots of goals, lots of things I'm working towards, and I'll talk about them as time goes on. And you can see that we are working on that mysterious bundle from the Joja Mart, which, if you recall previous episodes, Joja Mart got struck by lightning after we sided with the town, and this, oh, goody, yay, we got some more ancient fruits. We're looking for those gold ones. As you can see, I can see regular and the gray ones in my pack, but I've forgotten that the gold ones are down below. So I guess I got another one that's 4. We only need 1 more. So we'll just keep an eye on that. Anyway, the Joja Mart got struck by lightning, and so I don't remember if we had a dream. I can't remember how it happened. No, I know what it is. I went into the Joja Mart through the door that's, says closed or danger or whatever it is. So I went in there, and there was a Junimo in there that said that there was a missing bundle or something and needed these certain items. And we have all but one little tiny thing, which is another gold star ancient fruit. So we'll just keep watching for it. Something happens when we have those things and submit them to that Junimo. And I will be totally honest with you, at this point, I have no idea what happens. Because if I did it before, I must have. But it's been so long, I didn't remember what happened. So I'm very excited to experience that with you all. and see what happens when we get that mysterious bundle filled. So what I'm going to do is take these ancient fruits, these extra ones that we have that are not gold star, and we're going to put them through the seed maker. And at some point we're going to get enough of these so that we need to do another plot in our another plot in our greenhouse. What I'm going to end up with is, and I don't know why I'm carrying that around, I'm just kind of looking, what do I need to do here? We're going to end up with a second and then a third plot of 24 with our Iridium sprinklers of the ancient fruit. Now once you plant those ancient fruit seeds, you never have to plant them again. They grow in perpetuity, and it's wonderful that it happens that way. And that's one reason why ancient fruit is considered the most valuable crop to have. However, if you're just going, fruit by fruit or wine by wine or aged wine by aged wine, the Stardew is the most valuable one, but you have to keep planting them. So that's why a lot of people have ancient fruit farms. I mean, that's all they grow. And that's one of the reasons. Wait till you see the price of these things when you start popping those into the kegs, aging them up, and then putting them in your shipping bin. It's where you start making big money. So we will get there soon. Looks like Kent has a birthday coming up. And squid kids. It's like, I'm not going to go hang out in the mine just so I can get a squid kid. I hate those squid kids. That's those pink face things. They shoot at you. Okay, so unfortunately we will have to buy some cauliflower here. I wasn't sure how many to buy. I know I needed some to finish out the planting area, and then a few more. So we'll see what we can do. But if you look at it, that's not too bad. And if we do it right, as they mature, we can make new seeds to replant, and then hopefully that's the only seeds that we'll need to buy in this springtime. So as I've mentioned in previous episodes, I have the main crop, which in this case is cauliflower for spring. On the outside edges, I generally do a secondary crop, and generally it's the one that has multiple harvests. And in springtime, it is the strawberries. So I've got some strawberries. I do believe I also have rhubarb growing. So again, I like to have a mixture of things. And I really made a mistake there on the bottom edge. I put the rhubarb and there's no sprinkler to reach it. So oh no. I'm looking for any open spaces that I might have missed. It's really easy to do when you're looking at this, to miss a spot. And I do think I see one that I did miss. Ugh, I hate that. So I've only got 4 more, and I really need a lot more than I'm going to have to go back and get even more. I need to plant 9 in these spots right here above the bee houses, and I don't want to tell you my reason for that because it's a surprise, but when it happens, it is so very cool. If you haven't watched any of my episodes before, I try not to tell you about spoilers. I mean, obviously you're going to see them on the recordings when they happen, but I want you to see them on the recordings when they happen because it's so cool when those things happen. You can experience them along with me, and I do have subscribers that have not played the game, so I want them to experience it along with me, which is so much fun. And so again, that area down there, I have a purpose for planting those 9 cauliflowers all in one place, and we'll see how it goes. So I did go ahead and make a few more cauliflowers from what I have, and I just don't have enough. So I'm going to go ahead and head on over to Pierre's while they're still open. It's like, run, run, run. I wish I could go a little faster. No, I'm not going to drink coffee to make that happen. I'm not one of those people that drinks coffee every time I step out of my house. I'll just get there when I get there. But so, yep, 2:50. I should be able to make it in time and get a few more. It's like, I hated it. I should have probably counted it out or just bought way more than I needed because eventually I'll use them. That's 14. I think that's enough. I'm sitting here thinking, is that enough? I think so. I hope so. That would be a really pain in the neck to get all the way back and find out I still need them. And I wished I had done that yesterday. I always like to have my crops planted on the first day of the season, and I messed around too much yesterday. In the future, when my farm gets a lot bigger and I get more organized and I'm thinking about things a little better, I will let my animals let them be alone for one day and spend the entire day working on getting my planting done. That way everything gets planted on the first day, because it'll be a much bigger area that's going to be planted. So I want to make sure that that gets done. And yes, definitely deluxe speed grow. I want these to grow as fast as we can. Deluxe speed grow makes it go 25% faster. So anyway, it's okay to leave your animals alone for one day and not go grab everything, not love them on one day. It's okay for that to happen. It's no big deal. One day is good, and that one day I can get everything planted in that first day of the season. So you should probably see that happen in this coming summertime. This is going to be huge in the summertime because we'll be replanting, reorganizing our growing area big time, because we are going to get the Junimo huts, and they're just so cool to have the Junimo huts, and we have to redo the planting field to make that happen, and we need to have the Iridium sprinklers crafted ahead of time too. So there's a lot of things that have to happen before that occurs. As you can see, I'm getting quite a nice stock of the ancient fruit seeds, and there's 9, and who knows how many more we'll get coming out of the one that's still propagating here. And we're going to go check it out. That makes 11, so that's pretty cool. I think that's going to way overdo how many we needed. And let's check it out. Yeah, I had forgot that I had already planted. Oh my goodness, I had already put in our second Iridium sprinkler, which is awesome, and planted a few. So it looks like we've got 5, 6, maybe 5 to 7 more. I wasn't just really counting very closely. So we're getting there, and then eventually what I'll end up doing is the one that's down below, the first one we started, I didn't put it in the right place. I'm probably going to have to hit that with an axe and cut it up and take it down. I hate that because we lose a seed, I do believe. So one thing I did notice is I had not put out my scarecrows, and that could be a really bad thing. Now, there is a mod that can show you the area that scarecrows cover, because I don't remember off the top of my head. So I'm just kind of putting them out here. It's like, okay, I don't know. I think it seems like to me that it's like 8 by 8, but I'm not sure. And I've never really had a problem with this when I've put my scarecrows around in certain, just kind of here and there. I've never had a problem with seeds or plants being stolen by the crows. I have when I didn't know I didn't need them. So just kind of keep that in mind, that you do need to have scarecrows. If you do not, the crows come along and take your plants, which is just awful. So here I'm struggling, because if I put that scarecrow right there, I'm gonna be walking right into it. So just not sure what I'm gonna do here. So I'm kind of putting them all around. I do know that I need scarecrow up here somewhere, so they don't steal these. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to use that last one that we got from that guy. He's in the mine. We broke a rock and went over to him. I can't remember his name. He's pretty cool, and so we bought a rare crow from him. And as I've mentioned before, in case you haven't listened to it or seen it, there are 8 different rare crows, and you can see the different ones. We have the standard ones that we can craft ourselves, but there's rare crows that you can get all kinds of ways, and there's 8 of them. So if you collect all 8 of them, then something cool happens. So we're going to work on that in time and make that happen too. And also, I'm just realizing, I realize I don't have this set up very well. I don't think that maybe sprinkle everything. It's a problem. I need to get my Iridium sprinklers down there. But we'll make more. It's no big deal. We're going to keep getting that Iridium ore every day. If we go there every day, then we'll see it. And then we got to grab it. If you don't grab it, then it doesn't make it for the next day. So that's a new added regular chore we need to get to. As you can see, there is all kinds of rocks and weeds and small logs laying around all over the farm. So we really, especially like this area here, what I had done, I didn't know if I mentioned this when it happened, but the last day of winter, I brought grass starter out here and put just a little bit in each of these enclosed areas, and you can see what it did. It absolutely exploded with beautiful grass, fresh grass for my animals. Unfortunately, on your farm, the beginning of each season, you get these weeds, stone, and logs that are everywhere. And because of that, it didn't grow in those spots, so I'm getting rid of it so that it can fill it in. In very late game, there's a way to make those weeds, stones, and rocks not show up. So we're not going to worry about that right now. It is very late game for that to happen. But we got it fixed for now, but it is all over your farm. If you were to take a screenshot of your farm, you would see it everywhere. All of these things laying around. It's like, okay, let's get rid of all I can, and let's get some extra hay, because that's getting a little bit close to our planting area. So when we redo the planting area, there is a way to make sure that you don't get weeds growing, or grass even growing into your plants and stuff. And I'll make that happen. Right now, I just didn't want to mess with the redesign. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, so I went ahead and just left it the way that it was, and that'll do for now. Money-wise, we're doing just fine. We don't have super expensive things coming up. We are going to be making the fish ponds, and we are going to be doing the Junimo huts. I'm not sure exactly when that will happen. Maybe we'll get to it at the end of the spring season. It just depends on what's growing. I don't want to have to kill my crops. I don't like that idea. But we'll see what happens, because I really want to have our summer with the new field and the Junimo huts and all of that. So we're checking out what we got overnight, 1,000, and that's fine. Again, I'm not overly worried about money. But it's okay, we're making some. But we're on day 3 of spring in year number 3, so that's pretty cool. And of course, we always say good morning to our Harvey. And oh, look at his wedding amulet. It must have cost you a fortune. Actually, at the time I bought it, it was pretty expensive. So hopefully and thankfully, we don't have to ever buy another one. So, oh, hello there, Harvey Jr. How you doing? Oh, he's so cute. And again, you don't have to have children. I like to have them. It's kind of a role-playing thing. And look at our crops growing, and beautiful that they are. And and see, I didn't even see that that bottom row down there shouldn't have been planted. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. So anyway, it's it's all figuring it out. I know that in my 11-year farm, something very similar happened. I had planted too far to the edge, so then I realized, okay, I need to redo all that. And look at this, I'm so excited. It's like, oh my gosh, check it out. Definitely gotta bring in Iridium sprinklers down here, because these little ones aren't cutting it at all. But at the meantime, oh, look at all this beautiful oak resin. Oh, how beauteous. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so glad. You can see that we've got actually a whole bunch of oak trees growing over there that'll get us a ton more resin, and that is used to combine with the coral to make our deluxe bee grow. So, all right. So let's go ahead and grab. I saw that there was a piece of cauliflower missing. I saw a cauliflower seed was not planted, and I thought, well, I'll come down here and fix this problem. And there we go. I should have really checked that much closer. So anyway, we'll get to it. Hopefully we'll get enough rain to take care of that problem until I can get those sprinklers. Oh, look at all the weeds in my way. Yes, we've got a lot of work to do, but you can see that I have the pathways, I don't know what you call them, they're dirt paths right along the edge of my trees, so that will keep things from growing into my trees. So I'm just kind of clearing an area here. You know, I've talked about these fish ponds before, And it's no big secret if you've ever really paid attention when I was talking with Robin and looking through her menu of things that she can build. Fish pond is one of them. Fish ponds you can do things with, such as put in any fish that you want, and they will propagate themselves up to 10 in each fish pond, and then you can fish them out down to 1, and then they start over again. So I really want to get that going, and I'm going to focus on coral, raising coral, because I love the deluxe speed growth so much, and it's hard to get enough coral so that how much we are going to be needing, we will not be able to keep up. So we are going to put fish ponds down there, and I was looking at the area that I was going to put them in, and also this area right here. You may remember that we got these, I guess you call them seeds, but they're rice shoots, I think they're called. And if you plant them along water, then you don't have to water them. And let's see, they're called rice shoots. And I could plant 7 right along the edge of the pond, and we can plant them and let them grow, and it's kind of cool. The water, there's plenty of water for them to be watered, and it's kind of neat. So we're going to go ahead and add them. That was an addition, I think, that came with 1.5 version. And I don't think we had them before that. So I'm sure those of you who have played Stardew Valley, and if you know I'm wrong, go ahead and tell me. I just don't remember. It didn't seem like we had them before then. So as you can see, we're putting away the resources we got from just a little bit of cleanup that we did. And we're going to hang on to the, I think that was pine tar and the oak resin. So it's like, oh, we're just one thing away. Oh my, I was so sad that we're only one thing away. But that's okay. So things are shaping up. Those 2 sprinklers down there will sprinkle those rhubarbs, and that was kind of a new thing that we're adding. And I try to make sure, for those of you who are new, that I have a little bit of everything growing. I don't need massive amounts of things that are not very valuable, but I like to have some. And you never know when you're going to need something. You never know when you're going to want to cook something that you needed and you don't have it. So I want to make sure that I have a little bit of everything. So that was my reason for my thinking of having variety in my crops. Plus I like variety in my crops for no reason in particular. So I'm cleaning this area up over here. This area right here that we're standing in, what it is going to be is we need a lot of fiber in the future. Fiber creates grass starter. So I want to make sure that I have plenty of grass starter at the beginning of each season, or actually at the last day of each season. And that little area right there to the right, that is going to be my planting field for my fiber. To create fiber seeds, you need those I forget what they're called, miscellaneous seeds. It's the ones that we've been tucking away, and I've mentioned that I'm saving those. That's what I'm saving them for, is to create the fiber seeds. And so we will eventually make them, and then you just end up with plenty of fiber, which you'll need down the road. As I have mentioned in my earlier episodes, and my very first episode, you need to save everything. I mean, you come across something that you, look at that, oh, look at that pretty iridium ore. As you come across things, you need to save them, period. You need to tuck them away, because you never know when you're going to need some. There's 2 more. You never know when you're going to need it. And it would be a real bummer to get rid of things and then find out much later that you needed it. So I'm reorganizing again, because I want to make sure that my bars are from lowest quality to highest quality. That's why they're in that order. And the ore is so you can see my ore is like copper, iron, gold, iridium, and then crystals. I forget what they're called. So they're in specific order, and I want to keep them in that specific order. Because when I open my chest, I want to know, what's my lowest quality metal to the highest quality metal. So that's why I keep doing that. I just like it to be that way, and I just can't not. It's a little bit of OCD, not horrible, and it doesn't run my life, but it does make me do things like that where that's got to be in order or it'll kind of drive me a little crazy. Only a little, just a tiny bit. I have talked about the fish ponds, and what we need for the fish ponds is green algae and seaweed. And I have not been keeping it because I had not remembered that I needed it, and the only way to get it is to go fishing in the anywhere. You get seaweed in the ocean, and you get the green algae in the rivers and the lakes and such. So I'm going to go ahead and make up an extra cork bobber. I like to have at least one, and I think the one that's on my pole is kind of almost gone, and we are getting a little bit low on bait, so we're going to have to work on that at some point, and to go get some more bait. Ugh, I hate that, but anyway, I've got my extras so that we can go fishing and get seaweed and algae, green algae. It's like, oh, what a pain in the neck, because all of that we've eaten and thrown away. But we need 5 of each for each fish pond. So I was very excited about making a fish pond, and then I thought, what do I need to make that? So I could have figured that out 2 different ways. I could have gone to Robin's and looked at her whatever you call it, crafting menu that she has, or I could go to the wiki, and there is a link to the wiki in my descriptions, so you can go on down there and take a look, and the wiki has tons of information. That's what I did. I just searched for the word fish pond, and it told me exactly what I needed for the fish pond. So when I realized I did not have those things, I was very annoyed and thought, okay, we're gonna have to go fishing, which at the same time it gets us a little bit of money, but I'm not into the money. I'm into what I want to do to build my farm, and I need green algae. It's like, come on. In the meantime, we'll get fish that we can, like, whatever. Smallmouth bass, sure. So we'll go ahead and just fish for a while and try to get that. And really, supposedly, you have a higher chance of getting trash and like the driftwood and things like that if you don't cast very far. Your maximum casts are supposed to get you higher in stuff. So there we go. We've got 2 green algae so far. If you cast really nearby, you're supposed to get lower quality things, which would be driftwood and algae and things like that. So hopefully we can get a bad fishing trip is really what we're looking for. And I really thought about going over to that lake over there south of the farm, because we have had horrible luck, like 75% trash compared to 25% fish when we fished there. So I was thinking about it when I was standing here thinking, okay, I'm getting too many fish. That's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, but we'll work on it. And what's really interesting to me is my fishing skill is at 100, and I'm not getting starred quality fish at all. They're all plain normal quality, which I thought was kind of strange. Maybe that's because I am fishing so close to the edge of the shore. Oh, my fishing tackle wore out. So you can see, I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but in this case it sure has. That's 4 fish with no stars, and I've been getting much better quality fish than that. So maybe that's why. Maybe I'm on an unlucky day. I don't know. So let's see here. First thing I was thinking of, why am I wasting my bait? I don't need to waste my bait. It's like, that's not too smart. Why am I doing that? So let's put this over here where we can keep an eye on it. And we're going to keep on, remember we're starting to keep our trash, and we're going to put it in our recycle bin because we're getting all kinds of useful goodies from that recycle bin. So we're going to keep at that for sure. Oh yeah, there we go. When would I ever be so happy to get green algae? The answer is never before. But if we want these fish ponds, we got to get on it. I saw, well, if I'm going to get a fish, I might as well get the treasure chest, right? Who knows what's in that? That could be really valuable stuff. It's hard to pass up, even on a day when I'm trying to get nothing, sunfish, whatever. A geode and rice shoot and a skeletal tail. So, all right. Eventually, those skeletal parts that we're getting are going to be useful. They're going to be a resource. For now, we're just going to hang on to them until that time comes. So, again, not going to give too many spoilers of things that are interesting that we'll learn later on. And we'll just tuck it away for now. So there's so much of this game left. It's amazing how far we have gotten, really, when you look back on it on 61 episodes. But at the same time, I know how much more is ahead of us, or at least most of it. You know, got to pay attention to the direction that you're standing when you cast your fishing line into the water. So there's just so much. I mean, this game is huge, and I don't even know how many hours. If someone played it start to finish and power gamed it, I have no idea how long it would take. I do know that I was looking at my hours played the other day. This is on Steam. I do have it on mobile, but I haven't played it very much on there. But the Steam version that's on my PC just went over 1,000 hours. And I want to say that probably 900 of that is one playthrough. And that one playthrough has gotten to 11 years. And supposedly I'm at about 87% complete on that. If you don't know what that means, in the future we're going to be able to tell how far we are and how much of the content we have completed in the game. That is the goal of this playthrough, which is 100% for completion. I've never reached it before. But I'm just to tell you how many hours I've played to get to that point was about 900 hours. And it's like, wow, that's a lot of hours. But at the same time, I'm a retired slow play. I'm a retired person, so I don't power game anything. I don't play the most efficient or effective way. I don't care about that. Now, did I care about getting that statue of perfection from Grandpa? Yeah, once I found out what it was and that I could get it, and how it would help my game, you bet I did. And I worked on that, and I was talking about that the whole first 2 years of this playthrough. I was saying there's a reason why I want to hit these milestones, because I wanted to get to that point where we could get that statue of perfection, which would give us the iridium, or so much easier and safer than going to the mines, which I don't like going to the mines. I only go there when I have to. So if I need other ores, we'll have to go to the mines, but that's it. Other than that, I'd have no reason to go back. I don't need or want the challenge of the mines anymore. So we will have to go to Skull Cavern. Oh, that's 4. We'll have to go to Skull Cavern someday. But when we do, we will be prepared, and I'm going to show you how a person who doesn't like combat can achieve the goals that are set for us, the tasks that are required of us. And I want to again point out there are no starred fish on my inventory there, none. So I really think it's because I'm not casting very far. I think that's why, or just a super unlucky day, because I don't think that's happened in a very long time. So all we got to hope for is that we get another piece of green algae, and we got it. Yay, right to the ocean we go, because now we need seaweed. As I just mentioned, we need 5 green algae, 5 seaweed, and then we can go see Robin. I think it's also 200 stone, I'm pretty sure. And we take all of that, we go see her, and she will build us a fish pond. So get out of the way, guys. I'm headed over to my little island over here, looking for coral and other goodies that wash up on the shore. Supposedly after rainy days, you should come over here. There's more stuff that gets dropped. And got 3 pieces of coral, and that's not too bad. And a number, oh, look at this. And a shell and a mixed seeds. That's what I was trying to think of earlier. If this is the first time that you have watched any of my videos, I've mentioned it before. It's not a big deal. I have a little bit of short-term memory loss, and I tend to forget things in the short term. So like the mixed seeds wouldn't come back to my mind at the moment. I knew it was some kind of seeds. I knew it was some kind of random seeds. I couldn't find the word mixed. And so maybe next time I'll remember. It's not a big deal. It's just kind of normal senior memory loss, which seems like my entire family, I've got all of it. The rest of my family's got great memory, short-term memory. I'm the one that's like, what? I don't remember that. So I make lots of lists of things. that I need to remember, because if I don't, and sometimes when I'm getting my my Microsoft OneNote out to make a list of something or make a note of something, I've forgotten by the time I've picked it up because I've thought of two other things, and it's like, oh my gosh, what was it? So I'm working on it. It's not a big deal. It doesn't affect my life in a huge way. Just gonna make lists of things so I don't forget. And I've talked to my doctor about my compulsive list making, and he said, you are compensating for your memory loss. You're not overcompensating, you're just compensating. So that made sense to me. He assured me that I'm fine. He assured me that it's normal. I just have more of it than some people. So no big deal. I just make sure I make my lists. And I've talked about Microsoft OneNote before, and I'll mention it here while we're trying to get our stupid green algae, or seaweed, I'm sorry, that we're trying to get. And Microsoft OneNote is a free software you can download from Microsoft. It's amazing to me that it's free. You can make lists of things. You can make multiple notebooks. For instance, I have a notebook called My Notebook, and that's my real life stuff that I need to remember. And then I have games, and that's my game notebook. And in that notebook, you can have pages, tabs. I don't know what they're called. Let me tell you what they're called. You can have sections in a notebook. So for instance, in my game notebook, I have all of the games that I play that need notes. Within that, each section can have pages. So within, so for instance, I'm going to pull it up so I can think of it at the same time. So I have, for Stardew Valley, I have pages. So I have animals, I have goals, I have items that need to be shipped for completion. That's a completion thing. I have current goals, and I made a note called dungeon gear, and those are all pages. Within each page, then you can have writing. So for instance, my animals, I have that page, I have all of the names of the animals that I have, because I was forgetting the names of my animals, and I don't want to name something the same thing as another one, because that's happened to me before. One time I'm going to have a lot of goats, but on my 11-year farm I had so many goats, and I ended up twice had named goats the same thing of what they were named before. By the way, it got super late and I wasn't noticing it. I was like, holy cow, I gotta go to bed. I did end up getting a gold star anchovy. I'm not sure why that happened. I was like, okay. And I also got herring, so I don't know why. But anyways, that's why I keep track of my animals' names, and I keep track of all kinds of things. The seeds, for instance. So the seeds that I'll look at my planting map and say, okay, how many seeds do I need for the first and second planting, and maybe third planting of each season, and I'll make sure that I have enough of those seeds. So it just helps me keep track of things better, more organized, and I feel like I'm not forgetting too many things. So that's a very long explanation about my short-term memory loss. And what also I do is I repeat things for you, and I'm sorry if I do that. I don't even notice it. Other times I repeat things on purpose. So I know that those of you that have watched like all the previous 60 episodes are saying, well, you say the same thing. Yeah, I often do, because I have new subscribers that jump in and they're starting in the middle of this series. There's very few people that have told me I've gone back and started watching this from the beginning. So thank you, Wizard. I appreciate that. Frozen tear. That is, I believe, a mineral, right? Yes, it is a mineral. So I'm going back and mention things again, because it's all these new people that are coming. So hopefully that's not too monotonous for those of you that are watching this all of my episodes. I hope it's not too monotonous. At the same time, don't listen to what I'm saying, just watch what I'm doing. As you can see that we had 2 pieces of driftwood. I put one in the recycling bin, and I put one in the chest next to it. And as you can see, our oak resin is ready. Each time that does this, we have 15 oak resin. Isn't that fantastic? Oak resin along with our coral. Oh, look at those rice shoots growing. Oak resin along with our coral makes our deluxe speed grow. And in the present moment, that's the best fertilizer for us. It cuts that growing time down by 25%, which I love. So I think I've got it down on the entire field here. And in theory, I think there's enough time to have 3 harvests of our main crop. I think. We'll see. I want to make sure I don't want to plant things that I'm not going to have time for. So last season I wasn't trusting that, so I didn't plant any more of the main crop. So anyway, we're on the 4th day of spring in year number 3, and we are trying to milk our animals. Sometimes it's really hard to get in the right direction. It's like, hi Poppy, we got a full heart with Poppy. Again, the goats give milk every other day, so we've got our cow to make sure we have something every day, and then now we have 2 goats, and that will give us milk every other day. So we'll have regular milk and goat milk each day. So we're going to clean up here. Oh my gosh, look at all the goodies that we got. We got eggs, we got a duck feather. I love having the duck for that very reason. They also give you duck eggs every other day. And then our chickens every day, and our dinosaurs every 7th day. So at this time we do have 2 chickens, and I think, I've said this before, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to get rid of one of my chickens and just keep 1 chicken, 1 duck, 1 rabbit, and all the rest are lovely dinosaurs. So I could see that the apples were ready. So you can see how this is going to look eventually. The other thing that's going to come in here is our fruit trees. I will have 1 of every single kind of fruit tree in there, and again, they're very expensive to purchase, and varying degrees. I think our apple tree was $5,000, which we could barely afford, but we needed that apple tree for the community center. We needed 3 apples. I was looking here, how many apples do I have? And I had enough to go ahead and go take that and make apple wine or apple juice? I don't remember. No, I don't want to eat the apples. I want to go in here. We can put them in the preserve jar. So that was going to make apple jelly. And I had cleaned that out before, and I forgot to come back and put the fruit in. It's like, oh my gosh. So there we go. Got to keep that going. That's a good revenue stream for us. So again, right now we have 20 kegs. We have 20 preserve jars, and I'm not sure how many down here are casks that we have. And this is, if you haven't seen this before, this is the cellar, and this is where we are aging things. So we age wine, we age cheeses, we age goat cheese, and the value goes up dramatically, seriously dramatically. So looks like we're ready to go and try to go get some more seaweed, and there's some more mixed seeds, and we're gonna go get some more seaweed. We gotta have 5. We have none right now. We did not have a successful time with that last night, but we're gonna go give it a try and see if we can get some. In my mind's eye, if we stand right along the edge of the shore and we don't cast out very far, in theory we'll get more trash and seaweed. So we're gonna try. We're gonna give it a try, but we can't pass up these artifact spots, otherwise I call wormy thingies. Looks like there's not too many, only 1 piece of coral over here. So I don't know if we come back tomorrow. That guy up there, if you haven't seen any episodes before, he's there on rainy days, and you can buy an amulet from him if you have someone who has full 10 hearts. You can take that amulet and ask them to marry you. And if you want to be divorced, you can marry other people. And I know some players do that. They break up and marry other people. To me, this is a role-playing game, and I want to role-play happiness. Oh, perfect. Exactly what I needed. I want to role-play happiness. I don't want to create enemies. I don't want to make people hate me. I don't want to create divorce in this world. That is not what I am about at all, and so I won't do it. But you can, and that's why he's still there even after you are already married. He's still there so that you can do that. So again, this game is very much what you want to do. There's so many things that you can just ignore and never do. For me, I have a plan and a goal of where we're going. So, you know, again, face the direction that you want to cast your fishing rod. Oh my gosh. So far we've gotten 2 pieces of seaweed. It's 1 o'clock. I think we'll make it today. Hopefully we'll have enough energy. It does take energy to fish. And we're just standing around waiting. So we're going to get a fish, and that's okay. It's not our goal, but again, I'm standing in the shallows. I'm even standing in the edge of the water. As you can see, it's like, okay, I'm practically walking out on the beach that you can see there. And we're still catching fish. Like, what? I'm not trying to catch fish. That's not what I'm trying to do. Oh my goodness. And we're even getting quality stuff. Look at that. We got a gold star flounder, a gold star, I think it was an anchovy. It's like, holy cow. But that's okay. We'll sell them, but still, it's like, how do I get seaweed easily? I don't think there is a way. There's another anchovy, a gray, silver star. I don't know. So again, if you weren't watching the beginning of this episode, we're trying to get 5 more seaweed so we can go see Robin to get a fish pond built on our property. Since I went ahead and saw that treasure chest, we'll go ahead and get it. Could be something good, never know. Sometimes it's real minor stuff like a piece of clay or something, and sometimes it's really valuable stuff. What do we got here? Oh, a really valuable stuff. That is a bone flute, and that is awesome. We can take that to Gunther. We have not seen that before. That is an artifact. So cool. So think about that for a second. You know, you're supposed to be able to get really great stuff by fishing at the max thing, throwing in the deep end of the water. You're supposed to be able to get really cool stuff. We got a very valuable item standing here in the shallows. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Never expected that. So fishing treasure chests is a good thing to do. And if you see them, again, what you have to do is you gotta, before you catch the fish, you have to hold your green bar on the treasure chest until it goes away. Great, got some seaweed. And then you have to catch the fish still. You do that, you get the fish and the treasure chest. If you don't catch the fish after you've gotten the treasure chest, you'll lose both. So just keep that in mind. A lot of times if I got a hard fish, a difficult fish to catch, and it's jumping up and down, I'm having a hard time keeping my green bar on it, sometimes I'll ignore those treasure chests. So I don't want to end up losing both. Sometimes I get greedy and I lose them, and it makes me so mad. So we don't want to do that. I'm still catching fish. It's like, holy cow, there's another treasure chest. Can't pass that up. Oh, come on. Sometimes when it's like together, you'll catch the fish before you do the treasure chest, and I hate that when it happens. This time we got a geode, so that's pretty decent. We've gotten 2 geodes today. So holy moly. We're just doing really good, but we still are short on our green seaweed. I'm sorry, the seaweed. But hopefully we'll get it before the end of the day and before we run out of energy, whichever comes first. So sometimes I see that it had a hit. If I don't click I have a mouse that I think's trying to go out of me, and I'll click it and it doesn't click, and then I click it again, and that in that particular case it was too late. Because you only have like a second or so to click it so that it catches the fish on there, and it was taking too long, and that's why I lost the fish, and it pulls my bobber out of the water. So I don't know, maybe it's time for a new mouse. If you have any suggestions for someone who needs a mouse that has there, I did it again, that basically has a left button and a right mouse button, and I kind of like the one that makes the speed go up and down. That's all I need. If you got a good suggestion for me, let me know. I don't like to spend a lot of money on mice. I used to do trackballs, but I was having a hard time finding them. And the last one I had was a Bluetooth trackball, and it wouldn't stay connected to my computer. It was like, what? Get it. Get the seaweed. So anyway. This one I bought with my computer. I believe it's a Corsair. I'm not sure. I honestly don't know. Since it's been a long time since I've upgraded. Oh my gosh, look at this. We just got 3 more geodes. Now, usually these small geodes don't give you very good stuff, but never know. So we're going to keep working on it. I started to say it's been a while since I've upgraded my computer, and that's probably because when I bought my monster machine, it was a monster, and it has been fantastic. It was a custom built, and I'm not going to get that treasure chest. Nope. It's a custom built computer and good parts, and it's the only problem I'm having with it. I'm trying to remember what year I got it. I'm gonna have to look it up and see how old it is. I think it's about 5 years old, something like that. Is that I'm having ports that are starting to go out, like a USB port is starting to go out, and when I plug in my headsets, I've tried like 3 different headsets. When I plug them in, they disconnect themselves by themselves, which is really a pain in the neck. Sometimes I'll have to unplug it and replug it 3 times just to get it to work, and it's so frustrating. And heaven forbid one of my kittens come along and touch one of the wires. Not even bite it, just touch it. So I'm trying to make sure that they don't touch it very often, because, and I've tried different headsets. It's not, I don't believe it's a headset. I believe that it is the port. So I know how to replace things like that, but it makes me hesitant to do so. It's like, do I really want to invest the money in ports and the time? I know how to change out parts. I used to do that for a living, but I'm not sure if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to wait and replace the computer or just wait, because sometimes I know that can be the case where it's not actually the port, it's a place going out on your motherboard, and it's a toss-up on which it is. And that's not just my experience. Look at this, a dinosaur egg. That's huge. I mean, holy crap, I couldn't believe that. It's like, oh my goodness, I just want some seaweed, but look at the things that we've gotten. Train of thought. So I'm just not sure which way to go on that. I've talked with the manufacturer of my computer, and they agree with me that it could be either one. It could be the port itself, or it could be the part on the motherboard. It could be the motherboard and not the port at all. And I've talked to my son too, who is also pretty good with hardware. He also buys custom computers, and he orders. And actually, before his last one, it was the same model. It was the same computer as mine. And I've asked him what he thinks, and he agrees. It could be either one. So I could spend the time and money, and Topaz. I could spend the time and money to fix a port, and that's not the problem. It still does it, because the problem could be the motherboard. So I'm not sure. Right now I have many USB ports on the back, and they're fine. But the ones that I need to use on the front to plug in my headset and my microphone, I have one working one that seems to be good, and then the plug-in for the headset is the other one that's not doing too well. So we'll just let it go for now. I'm sorry I'm whining about this while I'm waiting for seaweed to come up, and we're catching a whole bunch of... My pack is almost full. That's 4. I'm thinking, okay, it's 7:30. I'm almost out of energy. All I need is seaweed. Just thank you for all of these wonderful extra items. We've got an artifact. We got a dinosaur egg, which is also considered an artifact. I mean, it's like, what else are we going to end up with? A prismatic shard? But no, we got our last piece of seaweed. Yay! I'm so excited. I mean, I've just been rambling on and watching my pack fill with fish and other very valuable things, and all I want was seaweed. Isn't that funny? So when you want fish, you catch all kinds of junk, right? I decided to pop in here because I saw Clint. I'm kind of working on that relationship with Clint, and I know that he really likes certain items. Topaz is one of those things he really, I mean, not just likes, he loves it. So I'm kind of just, it was an extra. I would probably have thrown it in my shipping bin anyway, and it's going to help that relationship. And there we are. So now he is a 8 heart as well, which it's not the most important thing. It's not something I'm focusing on. It will happen over time, but I just happened to see him walk by, and I knew I had that topaz, and I knew he liked it. or he loved it. So I'm going to go ahead and give it to him. And we'll keep an eye on that as time goes on. One of our goals, our eventual goals, is to be best friends with every single person in Pelican Town. And that will happen, and it happens by what we just did. We talk to them, we give them gifts. Really happens fast if you watch for you can do it in 1 year if you watch for the birthdays. So I'm like, okay, what do we want to throw in here? And the answer is all these fish. We can throw them in there. Wasn't sure about the eel. We need to be careful. I'm doing this very carefully because we don't want to accidentally throw something in there that we need to keep. So it's okay. Let's clear some stuff out. We know we had an artifact in here, actually that one, and we know that we have. Again, I was looking and I thought, okay, I saw a couple things. Once you start clearing it out and you're emptying out your pack, then you can see things a lot more clearly. And it's like, okay, anything else we can put in the recycle? That's my recycling bin holding box, and that's what that is. So wood gives us wood. So the driftwood gives us wood, which is fine. That means we didn't have to go chop down that piece of wood from a tree. So that's awesome. So again, I'm just trying to clean this out, be a little bit organized. I know I'm going to have to take those geodes to Clint. I'm going to put that dinosaur egg in our chest of eggs in the coop. And we've got our mixed seeds, and I'm very excited about that artifact that we're going to take to the museum. It's been a while since we've been able to donate. We haven't had anything to donate. So that was pretty cool. And I wasn't sure about the eels. I don't know how many we have. Again, what my goal is to try to get 5 of everything. So we'll see here what we got. Over here is the I call them the non-fish, and we didn't have any. So cool. We can pop that in there. I didn't realize we didn't have any. So we're kind of, as you can see, I'm kind of organized on things. Obviously, I need to go take that egg down. But we can put away our, also, I realized, I call them the crustacean box, meaning I call it non-fish box. So I needed to move those. I know I have extras of the crabs, and I wanted to put, yeah, I did have extras. I have 10 or so, but I wanted to hang on to them for now. And I want to run and put this egg away. It's like, okay, just kind of, I have some time. It's not too late. The day is not over yet. So it made sense to be a little bit organized and put things away. And it's like, okay, I saw something. What did I see? Oh, I got a tree growing. So apparently I didn't catch that seed that was there the first time, and now a tree is growing in the middle of my field. I don't want that. I thought I'd better take a closer look. I didn't see anything. It's after dark. I don't like playing after dark because I can't see very good. So anyway, let's go put this egg away. And all your animals are sleeping, by the way. And if you try to pet them when they're sleeping, it just says they are trying to sleep. So you can't pet them or anything when they're sleeping. And okay, so we're kind of organized for our next day. We obviously need to go to the museum. We need to go see Clint. And we need to go see Robin. So our next episode, we're going to be very busy. So, okay, I was thinking, which ones do I want to make? Let's do gold. And, oops, I got more iridium ore up there that is ready. There we go. Iron ore. Yes, let's go collect it. Oh, and there's also a diamond. We'll collect that too. How much do we get? 7. We just got 7 iridium ore. Look at that. We're up to 12 already. That is, see how fast it builds? It builds up so fast you'll end up with way more than you need. So I love that. So thank you, Grandpa. We really appreciate you, Grandpa. So that is going to end our episode. Thank you so much for following along. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to my channel. It lets YouTube like me better, and it lets me know that I'm doing something that other people find valuable. And if you like what I'm doing, please hit that like button too. But the most important thing is I want you to have a wonderful rest of your day.